Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Hello everyone and welcome to This is Football. Welcome to another transfer news show, ladies and gentlemen. We're here to talk all things transfers today. 6:15 p.m. UK lives are back for the foreseeable short-term future until otherwise stated. Today we're going to be talking about Declan Rice. We're going to be talking about Mateo Kovacic. We're going to be talking about Havertz. I'm sure is going to pop up at some point in time in the stream. We're going to be focusing on Arsenal a little bit and Manchester City today, both teams that were in the title race before one team capitulated, but let's not go there. So there's already 151 people in here. Everyone watching us right now or on the replay, you guys already know the drill. Make sure you slap that like button. Make sure you subscribe. I see there is a raid from Carefree Lewis. If you have come in from Carefree Lewis's channel, let me know in the comment section down below. Let's see if man like Lewis's raid is hitting the people. So let me know if you're coming in from Carefree Lewis. Make sure to go subscribe to his channel as well. Great guy. And we actually need to run it back. The Troops and the Lewis stream was one of the best ever on YouTube. So we're going to try run that back for you guys. But make sure you're liking the video now. Make sure you're subscribing to This is Football if you're ready to do so. Big up everyone for their support. And let's introduce today's panelists before we carry on. So, of course, I can sit here and I can talk about Kovacic and Rice and Havertz and whoever for the next hour. But you know what's better? You get an Arsenal fan and a City fan. And we just chop it up and we speak on both clubs. So first of all, joining me on the channel is the man that's representing Arsenal always on the channel. Great guy. Doesn't get rattled by Hamza, which is his special trait, because Hamza's coming on later on after he's done washing his face. I've never seen a bigger div in my life. Joining us on the channel, of course, is the man that is wearing a hat in support of his bald brother. You guys already know. Man like Igal has joined us. How are you doing, brother?
I'm good. I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Kicking it. Let's get this show started. I hope everyone in the chat is doing well. Hope you're enjoying your weekend.
My guy. So also joining us to represent Manchester City before Hamza comes. I feel like I'm going to be a little bit more on Igal's side today. So I didn't bring another Arsenal fan on. So joining us on the channel, of course, is this channel's KDB. Because he looks like him. They're both ginger. Unfortunately, or actually fortunately, I don't know why I said unfortunately. Fortunately for us, he didn't pull up with a hamstring injury like KDB in the finals and stuff. So today he actually made it here. He didn't bottle it like his favorite ginger. Joining us on the channel, of course. Who else? Man like Knob Bins has joined us on the channel. How are you doing, brother?
Yeah, I was doing good up until that point. You said that you're going to be on Igal's side this stream. What's that all about?
Of course.
You mean, of course.
You think I want you to win the league again?
I don't know. Just thought you liked me. That's all. But whatever. I guess.
I
guess
you as a
not.
person. I just don't like your club.
Whatever. Thank you for having me on, mate.
You've already won everything. You share the wealth.
I want more.
Look at this guy. How greedy are you, honestly? Very. Greedy are you as a City fan?
My question is, do we have sober nubbins today or drunk nubbins?
No, it was drunk nubbins last night. This is now, dealing with the effects of yesterday nubbins.
It's midday. It's midday nubbins. If you were under the influence, I'd actually be disappointed in your character. Anyway, let's get the show on the road. As I said, 250 people are watching us. Guys, we can't have 250 people watching us for anyone 50 likes. Yalla, slap that like button now. Subscribe to the channel if you're ready to do so. If we get to 150 likes, I'm going to take my hat off. You guys can get it done in the next 10 seconds so you can see Hussam the Eagle Nurmagomedov. So slap that like button now. Subscribe to This Football. Keep letting us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And there's only one place to start. Hamza, Habibi, are you washing your face or are you going to the spa? Yalla, Habibi. Anyway, so there's only one place to start. The common factor, man like Gaza says, man like Wusam, man like Wari Paul. Big up to you, my guy, man. My guy. All bless. His girlfriend tried to steal him away from the channel, but he'd rather me than his girlfriend. That's a very good decision, my guy.
Hey, get it.
My guy, Gary, man. He broke up with his girl just to be with Wusam. So anyway, let's start with the topic that includes you both. The man that you guys have been fighting over this transfer window with West Ham fans just being bare annoying on Twitter. Man like Declan Rice, and this is the latest here from Baza, from of course Fabrizio. This is what I read as well just before coming live on YouTube. The Declan Rice situation is still open. I expect Arsenal to try again. Arteta is pushing. Man City are now working on the deal, so it's clear there will be a little bit of a bidding war, if you would like, for the services of Declan Rice. So I'm gonna start with the guy that was probably interested in Rice from 500 years ago. So let's start with the Gal first. Talk to me about Declan Rice, brother, and your thoughts on this situation.
First of all, if you're going to say 500 years ago, that's actually Chelsea. So I don't know why Winter Surfer's not on the stream. But when it comes to when it comes to also Manchester United, because they were interested in him last summer. So Arsenal made it clear that we wanted him in January after we missed out on Caicedo. But we also said, even when we were in for Caicedo, that we wanted Declan Rice. We agreed personal terms back in February. This deal has been something ongoing for so long now. But the thing is, it's not as simple as just pay the money and give them whatever they want. We're not other clubs. We can't just give them a blank checkbook and say, fill in whatever you want and take it. That's not what it is. We had to negotiate a price down. And as we're negotiating a price down, West Ham have a vested interest to make sure they can get as much money as possible. So what are they doing? Anything we tell them, immediately they go and tell the next person. But when Man City come in, they keep it hush-hush until it's time to actually bring something to the table. But yet, Man City haven't brought anything to the table. So at this moment in time, Hussam, I'm not concerned.
Nobbins, those are fighting words. I'm not concerned. Well, what's your take on it? Because I actually haven't spoken to any City fan about this Rice situation. This is the first time we're having this conversation on the channel.
Yeah, it's an interesting one from a City perspective, because he's also been an Arsenal target for much longer. The only reason he became a City target was because Gundogan left, to be honest. That as soon as Gundogan announced he was joining Barca on a free, that's when City actually started to approach West Ham and Rice about this. So it's a bit of a different sort of circumstance in respect of maybe Arsenal, quote, need Declan Rice more than Man City, maybe, because as I say, it was much higher on their agenda and priority compared to City. I'm not sure exactly what's going on. From what I understand about the situation, City will not, because City haven't put a bid in yet. I know Arsenal put in at least one, maybe even two. Two, there we go. From my understanding, City haven't actually put in a bid yet, and again, as I understand it, City won't put in a bid unless they think the player would want to join us. So if City do put a bid in, I think that will tell us that Rice has given City some indication that he wouldn't mind joining. But the fact that the likes of Fabrizio Romano is still saying the situation is open, that tells me that Rice hasn't said no. Otherwise, we would have walked away and would be looking somewhere else. But yeah, if we do miss out on Rice, then it means that we, again, if the story is to be believed, we'll have missed out on Bellingham and we'll have missed out on Rice. And then I'll get a little smirk. And then I don't actually know where City go from there. To be fair, I think it depends on. It's all up in the air. It depends what happens with Bernardo Silva. It might even be the case that we just commit, Bernardo and Foden to being our more central players, and we actually look at signing a wide player rather than a central player. So it depends on Rice himself. It depends on who actually leaves.
I actually want to get into that as well from the City perspective, because you've got guys who've got Gundogan leaving, you've got Bernardo Silva apparently going to Saudi Arabia, so you've got kind of a mini rebuild in that midfield. But before we get into it, we've got a guy joining us from the gardens of Buckingham Palace currently. He has arrived finally. Rocking his shades because he calls himself the treble winner. He wants us to introduce him like this every time he enters the channel. Make sure you slap the like button. Make sure you subscribe for treble winner 2022-2023. I'm not quite sure if he played DM or something for Man City, but of course, man like Hamza has joined us on the channel. How are you doing, Hamza, man?
Big up everyone, no beans, everyone. How's it going, man? Yeah.
Big up, Hamza, man.
I didn't know you became a diva now. What happened?
Nah, man. Since I won the treble, I'm now flexing. I'm flexing. I'm wearing.
Hamza's a celebrity now, Igal. He's a celebrity now.
I love how you always say I won the treble.
Hamza, did you make an appearance on BBC 5 Live after you won?
They called me. I was in Turkey. So many missed calls. They wanted me. That was the day. Oh man, I was in Turkey because I changed my SIM card. I had a Turkish SIM card. So when I put the English name, I saw all this 0800 number from BBC. Oh my days. Because they've been saying to us every single season, they will tell me, Hamza, Mohammed, will you win the Champions League? You've been talking too much about will, and I said, yes, we're gonna win it. Last year we didn't win it, so they called me. So this year I said we're gonna win it, and then we won it. Oh, brilliant.
Did you end up speaking to them?
Yeah? No, I need to. No, I didn't. I was in.
Who cares? We got you on Hussein's channel. Let's go.
Exactly. Come on. I'm better than Robbie Savage. Let's not go there.
Don't compare yourself to Savage. That's
So Hamza, since you've arrived here, we're starting with the first topic, which is Declan Rice.
Yeah.
Your club interested in him as well as Arsenal.
Yeah.
I've seen you kind of tweet out and speak that Declan Rice should be joining City, stuff like that. So what's your thoughts on this entire Declan Rice? Because it's become sort of a transfer saga a little bit.
I think, you know what, listen, Declan Rice is he a good signing? Yeah, he's probably a good signing for us. But he's not a player. I don't know where. I want to find out from Nobby's where he's a player that you want to sign, you know, because I think he's good, but he's not 120 million pounds, 110 million pounds. I think he's worth at least maximum of 180 million. I don't think he's worth 110 million pounds. And at the end of the day, I think if City do knock for him, and he comes in, I hear that he's rejected Pep, I think it's a very big disappointment. It will tell me about an ambition of a player, because there's no doubt about it, Samia. If I give you a project to play for the greatest coach ever, with the greatest players, where you're guaranteed probably 2 trophies by August, Charity Shield and the Super Cup already. By December, you're probably winning the World Club Cup. And to play for the manager who guarantees you trophies, and you're telling me that you're happy to stay in London because it's London. It's a joke. What kind of footballers are these? No ambition, lack of ambition. So if I hear Man City, we haven't bidded yet. There's Arsenal in this competition. I'm sorry. The only thing that you've got the pool is London. But in terms of players, you have to respect players who want to win trophies. And the key thing is about the Champions League, the Premier League. No one cares about who you play for, how hard you work for. It's all about the medals. The greatest players, some, are respected because of the medals. You hear that over and over again. And Declan Rice said it on his video. He said, listen, my aim is to go to a place where I'm going to win the Champions League. Does Arsenal guarantee you Champions League? 0%. 0%. Arsenal does not guarantee you any Champions League. It's a joke. Everyone knows that. It's a joke. Real Madrid are there. This is like the clubs where Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, these guys are the guys that can guarantee you Champions League. Then there's Man City. But you're telling me Arsenal, no chance. Like Premier League, okay, fair enough, yeah. But Declan Rice, yeah, has to be very, very careful, because I think people are going to be watching him. And if he doesn't come, if City knocks and Pep Guardiola says, I'm interested, he has to go. He has to go. And refusing to go to Pep Guardiola, it will become one of the most biggest jokes for some. Imagine that Alex Ferguson ringing and saying, I want to play, you must play for my team. And he say, no, because you want to play for a guy like Joe, let's say, for example, who's this guy? A Newcastle manager. It's impossible. Bro, you have to play for the best managers, and he will improve. Or some. To play for a manager like Pep Guardiola, who's improved the likes of Xavi, Iniesta, Pedri, Messi. I believe he'll improve Messi. I believe Messi doesn't reach the heights 100%, 1,000%. I put money there.
You know what my problem is, Hamza?
You know what? Do you think 100 things? Can I respond?
I'll let you, Igal, but I just want to ask him a very simple question. Hamza, I hear what you're saying, but my thing is, this is my problem with this entire situation. Do you think Rice suits Man City? Because you're not going to bench Rodri. That's the thing. No, so where do you play this guy?
I think Nobbins will agree. I think he plays with Rodri. I think we can. Pep knows. If Pep is interested, he can work out how to play Rice. Who am I to say? No. Pep can play him and Rodri in between, and he will improve him as a player significantly. Look what he's done to Grealish. Look what he's done to Rodri. Was Rodri this good? Was Mahrez that good? Was KDB that good? So he's going to improve him. He's going to say, yo, this is not West Ham. You just don't clear balls and all that stuff. I want you to be comfortable with the ball. I want you to pass this way. He will improve him significantly, yeah? To a guy who, he goes to Arteta. Okay, fair enough, Arteta's a good coach, but listen, there's level to this game. Arteta is just learning as a manager. He's just learning as a manager compared to Pep Guardiola, who's probably the greatest manager of all time. So to me, I think he can play with Rodri in deep there, and then Kovacic can also play in front of them. And then KDB, I think we can have Grealish there and Haaland. And I think we can improve as well. Because Bernardo, if he leaves, we need to get a replacement. as well.
Okay. First things
Igal, what do you want to say back? Because I know you.
First things first, Nobbin. I feel like you're selling your club short by saying Bernardo Silva leaving, not Bernardo Silva, Gundogan leaving is the reason why you want Declan Rice. I think it's not that simple. You guys are a club that plan things meticulously, and it's not just a player leaves and they're now going to get Declan Rice. You would have a bunch of plans in the pipeline. It's not just one domino effect to make you guys go for a player and spend that type of money. That's just my opinion on that. Now, what Hamza was saying. There's no shame in a player picking Manchester City over Arsenal for footballing reasons and strictly saying, oh, they're winning things and go over them. But it's not a situation where you can sit here and say, oh, if he doesn't go to Manchester City, we have to question his mentality. Actually, if he goes to Manchester City and sits on the bench for a full year, we have to question his mentality, because really and truly, he's seeing Calvin Phillips go over to Manchester City, be a bit part player and win everything. You can win everything, but you can be the guy who just sits on the coattails and sits back and watches everything happen and you just pick up the trophy at the end of the day. Or you could be one of the main guys to help drive and transform that team, bring us back to the promised lands. And it's not only that, you threw away the London thing like it's not a major factor. The London thing is a major factor in the decision. Yes, managers can be a factor also, but he hasn't spoke to Pep Guardiola as much as he's spoken to Arteta. Arteta has sold him on the plan. Arteta is a driving force in the reason why he wants to join Arsenal, and his communication with Mikel Arteta and how we are going to use him has been ongoing since February. So personal terms are done. You've yet to agree personal terms. The deal is not over because you guys have come in, but I genuinely believe that West Ham have a vested interest to throw out reports that might not necessarily be the full truth. For example, Arsenal submit a bid. 2 hours later, it's reported that it's what do you call it? It's rejected. Let's be honest. Who did that come from? Only the person who's actually rejecting the bid that report can come from, right? So West Ham are giving us all this, drip feeding us information. For all I could know, your interest could be what it is, just interest and nothing more, because you have yet to make a bid. You've yet to make it official that you're going to actually submit anything. And this whole thing where you're rah-rahing and pumping your chest, bro, you guys just did a treble. I'm not going to denounce that. What I'm going to tell you is, what is a player going to do coming over there? They could do great things at Man City. I'm not going to diss that. But what you're doing here is you're basically belittling Arsenal, saying we have no chance of signing him. Guess what? Chelsea signed players over you before. Liverpool signed Van Dijk over you before. And Manchester United signed players over you before. Doesn't mean they have better situations. It's not about the status of the club. It's not about the situation. It's how much you want the player, how willing you are to the valuation that West Ham wants. If we both pay the same amount of money, he's coming to Arsenal because he prefers being in London, and he's convinced that the project at Arsenal is better for him as a player. And you saying that is about his mentality, that's actually the opposite. His mentality is weaker if he just wants to go and sit on the bench and ride the coattails of Manchester City's treble.
Hamza and Nobbins, before you respond, let me give you my take on it, because I'm a little bit of a neutral here. It's not like Rice is signing for my club, but I just want to say something from a footballing perspective. Before I do that, big up Dinishan, who says Kai and Odegaard as 2 8s with 1 DM is like a bagel. I can't lie. This whole Kai number 6 thing is just laughable, honestly. I don't know why Twitter, like people, tacticals are trying to explain that shit. It just don't work. I'm going to be honest with you. Big up to you, Dinishan. Big up to Lil M4, who says watching from Harteby Sport, South Africa. Big up to you, my brother, all the way from South Africa. Let us know in the comment section where you're watching from. But let me just say this about you guys. There's 500 people watching us. We ain't even on 100 likes yet. The level of disrespect. We've got Hamza out in the sun. Me and Igal got caps on. You've got Nubbins looking like the English De Bruyne, and you won't even slap the like button. It's free. Slap the like button now. And just because you haven't liked the video, the price tag to take my cap off is now 200 likes. Make sure you're slapping that like button now. Big up Dinishan, big up Gary, big up Lil M for the super chats. Everyone now, like the video, subscribe. At 200 likes, my hat's going to come off. And now let's go back to the football.
Here's 300 likes, I'll add my cap on it too.
See? There you go. There you go. See?
And if it's 400, likes, I'll go get a cap.
Coming off too. See? 2 hats are going to come off. So like the video. So let me just say this, right? I'm looking at this from a completely different perspective. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I just don't think Declan Rice suits Manchester City, just from a football element. I think Declan Rice plays the Rodri position. If you play Rice and Rodri in that position, it's way too defensive. That's my honest opinion. I think it'll be way too defensive for a Manchester City midfield. That's the thing. So for me, I think like both of them playing together in a Man City midfield is way too defensive. And I'm gonna be honest with you, Declan Rice is an unbelievable player, unbelievable talent, but I don't think Declan Rice can play the Man City 8. I don't think he can play the 8 at Manchester City. I really don't. I think he could play that possibly at Arsenal. He could play it for us. But Man City 8s, you need to be unreal with the football at your feet. Now, is Declan Rice's strength, the football on his feet? I don't think so. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm just going to be real. So for me, I'm looking at it from a football perspective. And I think just from a footballing perspective, he purely suits Arsenal more. Because Man City, essentially, it's two things. Either you sign Declan Rice for 80, 90 million, 100 million to sit on the bench and Rodri starts the games, or you play a double pivot in which you switch the entire way City play football. If you play Declan Rice as an 8, yes, Hamza is correct. Pep can improve players 100%. But can he develop Declan from a kind of like a lone 6 at West Ham to all the way to playing the Man City number 8? This is my honest opinion. I don't think he suits you guys.
This is where, for me, the biggest question mark is on what Rice wants as a player and what he wants in terms of his future development. Because if he sees himself as a defensive midfielder and as a 6 or whatever, then he should go to Arsenal and he should develop that side of his game. However, if he sees himself as someone who wants to develop his progressive skills, then he should definitely go to Manchester City. Because I will disagree with you, Hussam, because Rice would not be coming in to be, if it did happen, Rice would not be coming in to be a Rodri replacement or a Rodri alternative, nor do I think would he be being brought in to play alongside Rodri in like the pivot or whatever we want to call it. It would still be someone like, Stones alongside Rodri, or someone like Rico Lewis alongside him, or even Vardiol if he comes in, whoever. In my head, the way I've interpreted it is that he will be not a Gundogan replacement because he's not the same player as Gundogan, but he will be a Gundogan alternative. And I'll also disagree that he can't play that role because, John Stones can play that role as an 8. We saw that in the Champions League final. He was our best player. I think it's safe to say that, Declan Rice will back himself to have more, like a better first touch and
no,
better,
but John Stones is a better passer than Declan Rice.
It's not just about passing though, is it? It's also about carrying the ball and having confidence with it. And I think that it's also not just about what Rice is now. It's also about what Rice could become. But hey, it's also about utility. But he could also play if Rodri needed a rest, like Phillips is injured again, or he could play alongside him in the more high octane games or whatever. So it would be very different to what Gundogan currently offers. But there's no reason why he can't play that role. As I say, if Gundogan can play it, and if John Stones can play it as an 8 in a Champions League final, there is no reason why he can't do it. And that's where we would play a sort of, well, what we do currently play the 3-2-5. And as I say, it would be Rodri plus probably Stones in the midfield. And in my head, it would be Rice as one of the 8, probably a left-sided 8 because he currently plays on the left of a midfield 2 for West Ham. So it definitely could work. Not saying it's the best option out there. It's not saying it's the best option out there for the price, but if we're talking about would it work, yes, it absolutely would.
Hamza, do you think he could play the City 8?
Yeah, I don't rate him. I'll be honest with you. I don't rate this guy, Rice, like that highly. For me, he is lucky to play for Man City. It'll be basically his privilege.
What kind of conversation are we having, Hamza?
No, one second. Well, I'm just saying
you're having your cake and you want to eat it too.
No, listen. He's privileged to play for Pep Guardiola. He will be privileged to have his life like having to play for Pep Guardiola. Can he play for Pep Guardiola? Yes, any players play for Pep Guardiola. And to me, I don't want him. I think there are better players like Barella. I would love, absolutely way better than him. Barella would come in for cheaper price, 80 million or 70 million, and he would improve us. Barella is a way better player. To me, Arsenal will be lucky to have Declan Rice, and he suits their way. But to me, I'm watching this. Pep can take him, and he can play a double pivot, and Pep has tried different style of football, and it's worked. Pep went to a back 3. You guys never thought about he would do that. Yeah, he pushed Stones in midfield. He's done it. It's improved the squad, the way we played. Pep can transform the style you play as a footballer, the style we play. To me, I believe, I don't want to spend 110 million on that guy. Yeah, but if Pep says, Hamza, I know I can do something with this guy, then Declan Rice has to go. To me, Hussam, I'll tell you one thing. If he goes to Arsenal over Man City and Man City knock on him, it will tell me about mentality of that player. It will tell me, and I'm hearing rumors, this boy wants to stay in London, his family's in London, he wants to go shopping in London. Oh my God, I'm thinking, what a loser. Why would you have this kind of mentality? This is the mentality we have as footballers
Hamza, where
these
do you live?
days.
Hamza, where do you live?
Bro,
Where
I
do you
live
live?
in London. I live in London.
So why don't you live in Manchester as a Manchester City fan? You can go to every
I'll
game.
move. I've thought about it, and
No,
I'm
you're
thinking
not,
about it.
bro.
Come live
You're
with me,
lying to
Hamza.
yourself.
Come live with
You're
me,
lying
mate.
to yourself.
I
You
want
want
to
to know
live.
why?
Listen,
Hamza,
it's,
you want to know
it's,
why?
but my
Because
friends
you're a
have all
family.
moved to
Hold on a
Manchester.
second. Hamza, you're a family man. You're gonna drive 2.5 hours every single day to see your
Yes.
family in London. No,
If
you're
I'm playing for
not.
Pep
You're a
Guardiola, are you
liar.
joking?
Hamza,
I am leaving
Hamza,
my family
Hamza,
for Pep.
stop,
I'm going
stop.
straight.
I let you
Are you
speak.
joking?
I let you
Yeah,
speak.
I'm
I let
staying.
you speak.
My family, I
I
can
let
spend
you
my time
speak.
with my family when
I
I
let you
retire one
speak.
day.
I let you speak. Hamza, you're a family
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
You call me all the time, tell me, bro, I have to drop somebody off, I have to do this, I have to do that, 15 minutes, this, that, let me do this. I'm like, no problem, Hamza. When you're done, come on. I know you're a very family-oriented man. So now I'm questioning your mentality as a Man City fan. Why haven't you moved to Manchester?
Okay, let me
It's a
tell you something.
stupid remark.
I've not. No, one second. I've not been offered to play for Pep.
قال وين there.
If one second. If I was offered to play for Pep Guardiola, the best team now in the world, no question, that every player, even yesterday, Pedri was asked in live interview, where is the best place that you'd love to play for? And he said, New Camp is the best stadium to play for, and the second place is Etihad. That's Pedri. Who the hell is Declan Rice? This is Pedri from
Hamza,
Barcelona.
Hamza,
I'm sorry. No, one second. Let me finish
I
this.
hope Declan
Declan
Rice
Rice.
sees this kind
If
of stuff from
Declan,
your
no, one
fans.
second. If Declan Rice chooses Arsenal, it will tell me he's running away from responsibility and pressure. And this is what I want to see. Footballers. I want to see players who are happy
Sorry,
to be benched.
pressure.
Look at KDB. Look at KDB got
I have
benched
to take
for
notes. I
against
have to take
Spurs.
notes. You talk too much.
One
I have
second.
to take
One second.
notes.
No, okay, take notes. 1 second. That's why we're trouble winners. You have to take notes. Listen, there's a reason why to play for Man City is harder. There's more pressure at City than Arsenal. There's no pressure. You guys can finish second. You'll say it's a successful season. It's a fantastic season to compete with Man City. If they win the league and not even the Champions League next year, some City fans will say it's a failure. That's the standards of our football club. So if Declan Rice wants to show the world that he's a player, wants to progress his game, wants to play for the best manager in the world, and wants to win trophies, join me. If you want to do shopping and everyone and attention, whatever it is, and play with dinosaurs, whatever you have that you've got, go to Arsenal. But for trophies and ambition, come to my plan. I'll tell you that. Go. And there's no comparison.
Hamza, what's more pressure when you're relied upon as the one of the main players in the midfield, or when you're just a part of a squad that is massively productive? For example, who had more pressure on them this season? Would you say Xhaka, Jorginho? No, who had more pressure on them this season, Jorginho or Xhaka? Obviously, it's Xhaka. Who had more pressure on him this season? Would you say Calvin Phillips had more pressure on him, or would you say Rodri had more pressure on him? Rodri. So what you're talking about, once again, you flat out lying to the public, trying to deceive everyone, making it seem like your club is the best decision for every footballing reason. No, it is not. If you're going to say you can guarantee him trophies, I'm not going to dispute you there. But when you say pressure, when you say coming to actually improve their game, when you're saying coming somewhere and you're going to be relied upon week in, week out.
Where's more pressure, do you think? Where do you believe there's more pressure between Arsenal and Man City?
No, I let you finish. I actually took the notes and I'm listening to what you're saying. You're talking absolute BS, my friend. Really and truly. And the reason why I say this to you is because we know each other and I can say this to you. Bro, you need to stop lying to the public. What you just said is a lie. Straight out lie. What you've done is you painted a picture that sitting on Manchester City's bench and being a rotation option or coming in when you get your opportunity is more pressure than being an out-and-out main player at another club. That is not true. Guess what? Being in a relegation battle and being a starter that plays 38 games in the Premier League is more pressure than being Calvin Phillips at Man City. Forget about Calvin Phillips. Being a bit part player at Man City, yes, you win all these trophies, you compete in all these competitions, but guess what? You cannot tell me that certain players in certain clubs do not have more pressure than your club because you have such great players throughout your squad. It relieves pressure because you're surrounded with quality talent. Stop it.
No, but if you ask Nobin, there is more pressure in my football club than your football club. Next year, if you don't win the league, is it a failure? You go?
What pressure do you have?
No.
You just won everything. No, one person coming in. So you're telling me
joking?
Declan Rice. You're telling me
don't...
one second. There's a Man City fan right here. Nobbins, let me know. Do you think Declan Rice will be under more pressure to be successful at Arsenal immediately or at Manchester City?
I don't like the argument of pressure. I don't think it's relevant, to be honest. I also don't like the argument of mentality. I think that there's a sort of weird war of words on Twitter where it's like, he's got a weak mentality going here, he's got a weak mentality going there. Just because if one demonstrates strong weak mentality doesn't mean the other demonstrates a weak mentality. The two aren't mutually exclusive. You can have a strong mentality if you want to go to City and a strong mentality wanting to go to Arsenal. So I know it's not sexy to sort of like try to see the logic in that. I know it's more fun to pick a side and be like, he's being weak-minded, but I don't really buy into the whole, he's showing a weak mentality by not choosing City or whatever. I think that they both have their merits. I
actually agree with you more than Hamza.
No, because Nobbins.
No. Let's not agree with Nobbins now. The true answer is no. Let me just say it as it is. No. Someone on the stream has got to say it as it is. There is 100% more pressure on Rice at Arsenal. Why are we lying for? Why are we lying for?
No,
there is 100% more pressure on Hamza. You just completed football. Your team could finish 9th next season. No one would say anything.
No, it's different.
What do you mean? No, you just won a treble. You won the Champions League. You did everything.
I'm sorry. If that's your standards of your football clubs and that's how you guys believe when you used to win Champions League,
my standard.
No. Hold on. The standards of Man City, they're to play for Pep Guardiola.
You're using buzzwords that have no relevance in the conversation.
One second. To play for Pep Guardiola, you must win the league. You must. Let me tell you, to play for the greatest coach, you think it's okay to come 9th to play for the greatest coach?
You're missing the point.
No, one second. No. Our ambition next year is to win the treble again. I'm sorry. And City fans will tell you, I need the league. We need the Champions League. This is why our standards as a football club has been set so high, and the ambition of our football club. What do you think our youth team are doing so well, and they're winning league title every single season? Because that's an expectation from our football club. For Arsenal Football Club, they failed for the last 20 years. It's expectation to fail. To come 4th is an achievement. To come 2nd, this year they've bottled the league so bad. And we're not crucifying them, because to them, no, look what we done. We came from 8th, we came 2nd. Yo, are you joking? Are we serious? If Declan Rice, as soon as he plays for teams like Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Manchester City, the pressure's on.
Is it more pressure to be in a working for a company where you are given more responsibility and more is expected of you, as opposed to an organisation where you know that even if you fail or you underperform, you've got other people to bail you out, basically, because you've got people of equal or better caliber alongside you?
Here's the thing. It's less pressure being a mechanic at Tesla than being a supervisor at Toyota. That's my honest opinion.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. The reason why I say there's no pressure is not an insult. It's a compliment to City. It's a compliment because you guys have just won the treble, right? You'll be willing, you would want to win the Club World Cup, these things, just so you sort of have it all and you can say we won it all, and it's a nice thing. But at the end of the day, if you don't win the Premier League next season, no one's gonna come here.
It's huge.
Hamza,
it's a failure. It's failure.
I need to speak.
Hamza, one second. But no one. Here's my thing, right? You as a City fan, you expect to win the league. No problem. I agree with you. You should expect to win the league. I'm saying the general media, the general football fans are not gonna go like, oh my God, Pep bottled it, blah blah blah, because you already won it all. And one second. Let me disprove you using a City fan. AJ here, who's a City fan, says, sign Rice, Timber, Havertz, Slavia. Arteta has to deliver. From the City fans' mouth with a super chat. Big up AJ. He says it because if Arteta makes these signings after finishing 2nd the way he did, the pressure is all on him, guys. Let's be honest, for the love of God.
Let me just, Hamza, please, 1 second. I've had enough of your buzzwords.
Before you go, 1 second. Watching from a tree in Hamza's garden, big up Ozan. And let me just say this to this shameless City fan right here. Big fish in a small pond versus big fish in a big pond. It ain't no big fish in a big pond. Because Declan Rice won't even be a big fish, in my opinion, at Man City. I'm being dead. I'm being
No,
dead
they don't
serious. Here, I will look into this camera right now. I won't even stutter. Declan Rice isn't even a big fish at Manchester City. I can name this second 6, 7, 8 players that are better than him. If he goes to Arsenal, the moment he steps foot into that club, other than maybe Bukayo Saka or one or two players, he's the best player at that club. He's the best player at Arsenal, bar 3 players. One second. I'm gonna let you guys fight. I'm gonna let you guys fight. I just want to tell the people, 700 people are watching us. Make sure you slap the like button, guys. Come on. We cannot be on 150 likes. Yalla. Slap the like button now. Subscribe to the channel if you're ready to do so. I think we're only 20 likes away from both me and Igal's hat coming off. So you can do it in the next 10 seconds if you want to. Yes, slap the like button now. Subscribe to This Is Football if you're ready to do so. Big up to Gary Dinishan, Lil M, AJ Ozan, and Sage for the super chats. Everyone now, please like the video and subscribe this very second. Go ahead, Igal, because I know you wanted to.
Hamza, first of all, I've had enough of your buzzwords. And for anyone who doesn't know buzzwords, it's meaningless phrases that have no reason, jargon. He's every 2 seconds, he's basically saying ecotourism instead of just saying international travelers. This is what he's doing. Like, why are you talking about pressure? Why are you talking about these things? The reality is you're trying to talk about, standards, this and that. Bro, everyone's seeing through what you're saying. Basically, what you're trying to say is because Manchester City won a treble, anybody who goes to any other club over Manchester City is an idiot. But there's another factor. What if you're not willing to pay what West Ham want? What if you're not willing to pay what we want? What if the player has a preference to live in the same city he currently lives in after just having a child? What about other external factors that just has outside of football? Because if it was just based on football, everyone would be going to the biggest clubs. It doesn't matter what the price is. It doesn't matter what happens. It doesn't matter who their preference is. But guess what? That's not the case, because Van Dijk went to Liverpool over your club because you guys didn't want to pay the money. You had other situations where Jorginho.
No, we pulled out.
This, you see?
Be quiet, Hamza, man.
We pulled out that deal.
This is what it is. When you don't get Declan Rice, you're going to then frame it as in Declan Rice is not that good. Declan Rice is not this player.
No, I don't rate him.
Worth that type of money. You're gonna spin it. No matter what, I can sit here and say I wanted Lautaro Martinez to join Arsenal. He went to Manchester United. We missed out. He rejected us. This is normal in football.
Lautaro Martinez at Inter Milan.
Sorry, not Lautaro.
I think he means
Lisandro Martinez, who went to Manchester United. You know what I mean, right? So there's situations where even you're gonna get rejected. Thing went to Real Madrid. You don't think Man City were in for him? You don't think Liverpool were in for him? Yeah. These things happen all the time.
Bellingham went to a bigger club, Real Madrid.
These things happen all the time. Guess what? At the end of the day, you might not want to hear this. Arsenal is a bigger club, but that's not the decision and reason why he's going to join Arsenal. The reason why he's going to join Arsenal, I've already laid it out for you. You need to stop going back to standards, stop going back to trophies, stop going back to these things. Because at the end of the day, if the player backs themselves and they see their clear role in the team, joining Arsenal is not only a step up from West Ham, he could join Arsenal and take us over the line. And as Hussam said, not only will he be an important player, he's going to have a lot of pressure under him, being the number one, the highest ever transfer record for Arsenal Football Club. Number 2, being one of the largest transfer fees for a midfielder since Enzo Fernandez in the Premier League. The highest sale, one of the biggest sales in the Premier League. I don't think anyone's gone for over 100 in the Premier League besides Jack Grealish. And look, perfect example, Jack Grealish. When he went to City, he had a terrible first season. But guess what? He wasn't criticized. He wasn't slapped with the same flop tag as other players, because they know at Manchester City you are given a year grace period. At Arsenal, if you don't do well hitting the ground running right away, you are going to get criticized massively, and the pressure is much more.
Okay, let me just say something. I'm going to respond to this, Hussam. When KDB did not play well for 2 games, the pressure was so much on him that he got dropped for Tottenham. When Cancelo was not performing a couple of games, he got dropped for Rico Lewis. The pressure is so high, and Pep Guardiola can drop you. He's telling you, you are nobody. Arsenal, Saka was having stinkers after stinkers after stinkers. Saka would not get away with what he got away with Arsenal. Saka was one of the worst players in how many games? Arsenal fans came criticizing him, but the guy continues playing. Why? Because there's no pressure. There's no pressure on Saka. You think Saka? Look at the pressure that Foden gets.
Don't you think that's a
let me give you an example. Foden scored 14 goals, the same amount of goals as Saka. Look at this. Foden scored the same amount of goals like Saka, and he's been injured for 3-4 months. People have called Foden a flop, or Foden's not doing it because he's playing for a bigger club. The world is watching more Man City. People care about come out the UK country and let's travel the world. No one cares much. They care about Man City so much. The pressure I will get from the whole world when Haaland kicked off was, is Haaland's going to be a flop? No one cared about Jesus. No one cared about Jesus. Who cared about Jesus? When Haaland signed for Man City, 1 second.
You do this all the time.
On Haaland. 1 second. Listen.
After that moment, no. Haaland is a generational player. He's one of the biggest names in world football. Stop comparing Haaland to Lukaku and Jesus. Stop doing that. You're disregarding your own player.
But I'm just saying. When the standard is so high at clubs like Real Madrid, I swear, that's what I told Bellingham to. Bellingham has so much pressure. I dare him have a bad games because a white handkerchief will wear. Because Real Madrid don't accept. They don't care how much they paid for you. Man City, the same thing. Grealish, if he had a bad games this season, Grealish will be criticized. I've seen KDB benched, Bernardo Silva benched, Mahrez benched, Foden benched. Who are you? You think Declan Rice can have stinkers in your club? He'll still start. I've seen players having stinkers. I've seen Shaka putting his 2 fingers to your football club, throw your shirt to the ground. You're still playing the guy. What kind of pressure is that? What kind of
do you not think
the club this badge? There's so much pressure because the prestige we've got now.
Can we stay on topic? Because what you do is you have an argument, you have a case, but it's for another argument. Why do you keep diverting away from the conversation? We're talking about Declan Rice wanting to join Arsenal or Manchester City. Now you're talking about this guy, you're talking about this player, you're talking about all these different things. But what you're forgetting to do,
City is a lot of pressure, bro.
But what you're forgetting to do is you're forgetting to connect everything back to the main conversation. You can win as many side arguments as you want. The main argument is, why would Declan Rice go to Arsenal or Man City? The reason why he's not going to go to Manchester City is because Manchester City have not yet bid for the player. They've not yet agreed with the player that if he wants to go to Arsenal or Man City or not. Based on your opinion, you think a player should always join Man City over Arsenal. I don't disagree with you. Based on footballing reasons, they should pick Manchester City over an Arsenal. But there's more than just footballing reasons, and you're not listening to that.
No, I agree. Go on, Nobis. Go on.
I was just going to say that just on the whole pressure points. Like it's. I know I didn't answer the question before because I didn't think it was like that important. But I saw people in the comments annoyed that I didn't answer it, so I'll answer it now. Hopefully my analogy demonstrated what I was trying to say. But obviously it's going to be more pressure at Arsenal because he's actually coming in to start, and now we've also got to remember that Arsenal have different expectations compared to last season. Based on their transfer activity, now the expectation might be that they actually go and challenge again for the title, maybe even win the title, and Rice would, in theory, be a consistent starter in that project. Compare that to Man City, where he's not going to be really expected to go into that midfield and absolutely transform it. Like, we've already got Rodri and Bernardo Silva and Foden and Kevin De Bruyne and Phillips, etc. Compared to Arsenal, who have, I don't know if they will have, a party. Obviously, they've got Odegaard, but Xhaka's leaving, and the quality drop-off is pretty different. So Rice is going to be expected to go to Arsenal and basically transform that midfield and transform that team, maybe. Whereas at City, look, there's different pressure in different ways, but it's not as if like...
How are you going on the fence again after saying you won't go on the fence?
I'm not on the fence. No, I'm just saying that there's obviously still pressure.
Where is there more pressure, Nobbins? Just say it.
I said Arsenal at the start.
Thank you, because you said that. I agree.
I said that, but I'm just making the point that if Rice drops a stinker for Arsenal, it matters more to Arsenal than it would if he dropped a stinker for City. Because if he drops a stinker for City, it's largely irrelevant. It's like, well, we've just got Bernardo to bring on or whatever. Pardon?
Pep will bench him. If he has 2-3 games as a stinker, we've seen KDB having stinkers, he gets benched. Do you think Arteta will bench him?
So getting benched and winning trophies?
So. If anything, getting benched is putting you out of the spotlight.
Yeah, I know it puts you on the spotlight because people think, hold on, you're a 100 million player. and they bench you.
I don't think he does. Even when De Bruyne got benched, it was like, oh, it's whatever. He wasn't playing that well.
De Bruyne didn't even play in the final after like 20 minutes. Or
no. When De Bruyne got, I remember I was at the game. When De Bruyne got benched, it was a big talking point. I remember even BBC, oh, De Bruyne got benched. Okay, Pep Guardiola's, bro, it was a big hype. Oh, De Bruyne's having stinkers. Pep will not accept. It was Cancelo issue was a big issue. Pressure. Rico Lewis is preferred. Look, at Arsenal, I respect it. Yeah, I go. The thing is, I respect it. I just want to see whether Man City will bid. I don't think Man City are interested. I don't want Declan Rice. I don't want him. £100 million. Sorry about that. You can get a better player. But if I hear that City did bid, and Pep did speak to him, and I hear that he did refuse to go to Pep Guardiola over Arteta, he's got blood in his hands. I'm watching the guy.
You can't handle rejection.
I'm watching the guy. No rejection. I'm watching the guy because he has to prove me right. No.
One second.
Next year, let me ask Nobin. Nobin, what is the priority what's our target next season?
What's our
target to win next season? Is it not to win the league and the Champions League?
Ideally.
Exactly. Now, if we don't win the league next year, is it a failure?
Well, probably, yeah.
And if Arsenal don't win the league next year, will it be a failure if you don't win the league?
If we win the Champions League, no.
I think there's a difference, though, between club pressure and individual player pressure. I think you're conflating the two.
Okay. No, I think as a club, Arsenal have least pressure compared to us. Like, Arsenal are getting...
Okay, I'm not disputing that, but I'm talking about the individual player pressure.
But you know,
because one second. The way Arsenal ended this year, okay, so you guys won the league, you guys won the Champions League, you guys done the treble, right? Because of the way Arsenal, the way they bottled the league, there will be extra pressure on them next season. Because of also more decisions they're making in the summer transfer window, like signing Kai Havertz, there's extra pressure on them. I think Arsenal, there's so much pressure on them right now to deliver, to actually play at that high level. Because people are now like, I'm not going to keep saying Arsenal have got a young team and let's hug them all. Next season, it's even extra pressure on Arsenal. So I think even from both perspectives, because here's my thing. I understand what you guys are saying. At City, we're used to winning. We're used to doing this. You're used to do that. That's 100% accurate. I'm saying from the club's perspective, from Pep's perspective, no one is at danger of getting sacked. It's not like someone's job is on the line. These guys have just completed football for Manchester City. So if for the sake of argument they have an off year and they don't perform as well, it's not like Pep's gonna lose his job or some wild stuff is gonna happen. Like it's just gonna be like everyone's just gonna go like, oh, City had a bad season, they'll probably come back next year. But if Arsenal have a bad season next year after bottling it, all hell's gonna break loose. All hell is gonna break loose. That's the thing.
Big up Nabil says that way, though.
1 second. Big up Nabil says a better side. Why you bring people like Hamza on streams and give him attention? He doesn't ever think before speaking. He makes Igal look sensible. First of all, Nabil, come back at 11:30 because we've got a United show. Second of all, you ain't gonna insult my guy Hamza like that. Only I insult him. So behave, for I slap you on your face. But thank you for the super chat. Both guys are sensible. They're just arguing from different standpoints. 820 people are in the building, guys. Breaking numbers for the transfer shows. I'm sure because of both sensible Igal and sensible Hamza and me and Nobbins' beautiful faces. So make sure you guys are slapping the like button. Make sure you guys are subscribing to This Is Football if you're ready to do so. Big up Nabil. Big up to Shug, Ozan, Gary Dinishan, Lil M, and AJ for the super chats. Everyone right now, please like the video and subscribe. And because I'm a man of my word, we've hit 250 likes. So the hat comes off and you can finally see Hussam the Eagle Nurmagomedov right here. I'm going to ask you all to send location and put you guys out.
Don't forget that.
Yes, Igal is at 300. So you guys can do it in the next second if you want to. 300 likes and Igal's hat comes off too. And I promise you his hairline is worse than mine. Wallahi, it's worse. So make sure you're liking the video now.
Why are you making it that bad? Hamza.
You're 100%. Your hairline is 100%.
Yeah. Hamza, I think for the sake of the show, you've gone too far away, made this too much about pressure. And the reality is you're not acknowledging the actual facts on the table.
Man, I don't care about this shopping. I don't care about this London and family.
One second. I think you guys did the Centurions. I think you guys did the Centurions or the domestic treble and still didn't get Van Dijk. Liverpool finished second and they got Van Dijk. So when we're talking about all these things that we're talking about, Why is it that you keep bringing it back to this irrelevant point? Bring it back to the actual point at hand. Declan Rice has different reasons to want to join different clubs. And Arsenal, you threw away the London point. We've already acknowledged that. You've spoken about pressure enough. Let's move that aside. We've spoken about trophies. Let's move that to the side. Look at the actual play and where they're going to play and the impact they're going to have in both teams. One, at Arsenal, where he's ideally going to be the Thomas Partey replacement. He's going to be playing week in, week out, and he's going to be most likely going to be a big part of our leadership roles going forward as one of the potential captains of the team, and he'll be a very impactful player for us and furthering his development.
I think he'll become Arsenal captain, all jokes aside.
Furthering his way as an Arsenal player, and guess what? This might not even be his final move. He could be at Arsenal for 5 years and still make another massive move.
How old is he? 25?
Yeah, he's still young. So when it comes to Manchester City, if he goes to Manchester City, he's already seen different situations where it takes a player a year to get their feet under him. He's seen his friend in Calvin Phillips have a tough year but win everything. Yes, he'll win everything, but coming over to City doesn't necessarily guarantee you everything you want for your career. You're making it seem like Arsenal have nothing that we can offer him. What we offer him is actually a step up in his career and a step to progress to become one of the best players in the world. Where at Man City, you're just one of the best players at one of the best teams in the world. You're not going to be.
Why I'll tell you what, Sam.
Hamza, answer this question and then respond to Igal.
Which question is that?
Hamza, would you agree that VVD won't start for City?
Okay, VVD. VVD. No, this season is not as good. I think he's fallen off a bit. Yeah, definitely he wouldn't start for City. But let me go back over the Van Dijk
I'm not even gonna fight. Let me
listen. Van Dijk. When we wanted him, and you can follow. Please go and watch Manchester City documentary. I have not been paid to say that on this show. Go with the Manchester City documentary and watch how there's a guy called Omar Berrada and Soriano were talking about at that moment. They were following Man City through, and they talk about that moment of should we pay the 85 million? And they decide not to pay, and they make that decision just there. You can hear him in the documentary. He's still at Southampton. Not to say they went not to pay 85, which I believe was a mistake. I believe it was a mistake. Everyone's allowed, because Van Dijk was world class, no doubt about it. Yeah, we have to respect Van Dijk. So let me clarify that he didn't reject us. We did not bid, and I did not see Manchester City bidding 85 million in Southampton. So let's use the words correctly. If Hamza, I bid,
you've never been rejected.
No, we've been rejected. I think. Yeah, we've been rejected. But Van Dijk.
Every club has been rejected at some point.
No, yeah, they've been rejected.
I feel like he has an issue with the wording.
No,
he doesn't want to say.
Because people use the Van Dijk issue. I had to educate people there so that they don't hear this.
No, but Van Dijk really did reject City because he said it himself. No, but by the way, not just City, City and Chelsea. He said no to City and Chelsea.
No, but documentary is there. He promised Klopp, and I think City did. Let me talk about this part. Yeah?
No, but Liverpool with Klopp is more attractive than Arsenal with Arteta now. Because Klopp has a CV.
Yeah. This is what I say.
What about Jorginho?
Klopp has a CV. It's the truth.
Jorginho,
it's not against
Jorginho was about Napoli issue. Napoli.
It's never about City, right?
No. He wanted to work with Sarri at Chelsea.
Yeah, he wanted to work with Sarri, and Napoli did as a U-turn, and that's why City don't like Napoli. We don't do business with Napoli, and I heard rumors about City don't like going for Napoli players, which is Koulibaly. We couldn't go for Koulibaly again. We were linked with Koulibaly, but I never heard City bidded for Koulibaly because it was that was the main issue. Let me come back to this. Go.
So there's other reasons why people don't.
Igal, we're at 300 likes, by the way. It's time to be a man of your word.
Take off.
Hey. What I tell you? I told you his hairline is worse. I told you it's worse every line.
So, I've got the best hairline compared to everyone here, me and Nobbins. Listen, let me finish this. There's a reason why I keep saying in England, there's a lot. England will never win the World Cup because this mentality of stay in London listen. If the best, greatest coach come for you, who's managed players like Kimmich, Kroos, Schweinsteiger, Xabi Alonso, Bayern Munich, those players elevated them. You make the biggest mistake of telling me, I want to stay with my family in London. I want to go shop. Once I hear that, I start doubting you as a mentality monster. Because for you to be go and work with the great managers. Klopp, I would understand. If someone told me that Liverpool are coming with Pep Guardiola, I understand Klopp is a monster. You know how much I'm scared of Klopp? Klopp is a monster. Klopp is a monster. Klopp will improve you as a player. I've seen Klopp improve Robertson. I've seen Klopp improve Trent Arnold. So if Declan Rice and it was Liverpool and me, I would understand if Hassan says, look what I did to all these
because
guys.
Klopp
But
has
to
a
me,
CV. I understand.
Yes. And to ignore Pep, who will improve you as a player, makes me doubt your mentality as a player. Because then I start thinking, I'll watch you for England. If England fails, I'll say, this is why people like Declan Rice are around. So let me see if we bid. But listen, good luck to Arsenal. If you want him, go on off 120 million. I pray we don't get him for 120 million because we can spend money better.
The pressure at Arsenal is maintaining top 4. Not next year, Sage.
No, we got to win the league.
Need to challenge,
yeah. People are talking about winning the league, getting to far away in the Champions League.
We have to make the next step in football.
Actually, me and Igal's response to this entire time has actually been respectful to Man City, because we're saying, bro, you're going to a club filled with world-class players. Like, before you even think about Declan Rice, you've got Haaland, you've got KDB, you've got Ake, you've got Stone, you've got Diaz, you've got Ederson, you've got Rodri. That's already 8 players that people would look at before they look at Declan Rice. And that's not an insult to him, but I genuinely believe, like, there'll be more expected of him at Arsenal, because if he walks into Arsenal, who right now currently from the Arsenal players is better than Declan Rice? You would say probably, just to be fair, you would say Saka, right? I agree. Okay, Saka and Odegaard is fair. That's 2. Other than that, Rice, you'd say, is probably at a higher level than everyone else. So he's already top 3 player at Arsenal, just like that. So that's my thing. And remember as well.
I just want to say one thing on Hamza, please. Big up the super chat also if you wanted to read it. Oh yeah,
I read it. Yeah.
Big up Sage. I don't think there's any pressure on us to stay in top 4. Our pressure is to actually compete on all fronts. People are going to say you have pressure to win the Champions League to us next season. You watch.
No.
People are going to say that. People are going to already say crazy things like that. I don't think we have any pressure to win the Champions League, but to win the league, 100% we will have pressure next season because we finished so well this season. Now, Hamza, I just want to say this. Once again, you are amazing at doing this. I can talk about Arsenal's trophy history and it has no relevance to this whole debate. What you do is you're going to start mentioning Pep Guardiola and Arteta. I'm not debating who's a bigger manager, who's a better manager. Everyone can see that. That is clear. We know who's the better team between Man City and Arsenal. We know you guys are competing for better trophies between Man City and Arsenal. But there's going to be situations where players prefer to go to a place where there's more guarantees and a potential for growth in their role than there is where they're going to be a bit part player. Some people want to be the main man. Some people are okay being part of the greatest teams. But guess what? If you believe you're the main, you want to be the main man, you can sometimes develop your team into being that team and take them over the hump. Not everyone wants to be Kevin Durant and jump from super team to super team. Some people want to stay and be Giannis. That's just how it is. That's true. That's true. So right now, if you don't get the basketball reference, I'm sorry, people. But I can't think of a football reference right now. Is there one?
There is no football.
Harry Kane issue. Remember when Harry Kane?
Kane. No, but Kane needs to move though because he just.
Let me say.
There is. Steven Gerrard. 1 second. Steven Gerrard showed his level of ambition by staying at Liverpool, winning them the Champions League, winning them all those domestic trophies, where he could have left to go to Chelsea to win other trophies and just be part of the team. But guess what? Then you have other examples where people left Arsenal to go to Manchester United to win 1 league title. Really and truly, who's going to be remembered as the player with the bigger legacy? It's going to be Steven Gerrard, not the guy who leaves their club like Jamie.
Francesco Totti.
Give you another example. Tottenham have a player in Michael Carrick who left Tottenham. Michael Carrick left Tottenham, went to Manchester United, won all those league titles. No one talks about him in the same breath as Steven Gerrard.
Let me tell you something, yeah?
That's true. Well,
let me tell you,
Egal. Listen. Let me. Sorry, Hamza. Listen.
Yeah, go on.
We've talked about Rice for a whole 55 minutes. There's another question I want to ask both Nobbins and Hamza because I don't want to keep you guys for too long. Because we want the guy watching this on the replay to enjoy this. This is the thing saying. Hamza, City are buying from Chelsea's bin. Thoughts? And I just want you guys to kind of touch on final topic of the day, because this whole Declan Rice thing, I can't lie to you guys. I've realized today I need to make this like a 10 p.m. show so we can keep going for like 2 hours. But the 6 to become short so people can just watch the replay. Mateo Kovacic is the Chelsea bin that Amin's referring to. So Hamza is the question for you, and then we go to Nobbins. Your thoughts on Kovacic signing? According to Fabrizio, I think we got the here we go today or yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. So thoughts on the Kovacic thing, Hamza?
Fantastic signing. I think he's a brilliant player. I think he's wasted his years at Chelsea. He's brilliant. I've always rated Croatian players. Croatian players are very good play. They can play the ball. They can drive the ball forward. And I grew up watching top Croatian players, Zonomir Boban, Prosinecki, top players like this. They're very good on the ball. They're just Croatian players are fantastic on the ball. They're not scared. They can dribble. Kovacic is a fantastic signing for £25 million. 25 million plus probably 5 million add-ons. And I think that 5 million add-ons is probably, they'll get that 5 million if we do another treble. They ain't gonna get that 5 million easily, man. Let me tell you, City must have put that 5 million add-ons with something else. 25 million for a player like Kovacic, one of the best midfielders in the world. You will see what Pep Guardiola will do with him. We will improve him as a player. He's a fantastic 25 million. You cannot get anywhere else. And that's what I call this football club fantastic signing. And he can play as a number 8. He's hardworking. Whenever I played against Chelsea or something, he's the most difficult player. I can't get the ball off him. And he's played with the likes of Rakitic, Modric. He's learned from the best. I am happy that we've got that, and it's a steal. To me, Chelsea made the biggest mistake of selling Kovacic, and they will regret this. They will regret this. And I promise you this, he will win us trophies, you will see. And Kovacic will probably be one of the best signings in the summer for that price of for £25 million.
Okay, Nobbins, go on.
Yeah, I like it as a signing. I don't like it if it's, I don't think it is, if it's just sort of like a Gundogan replacement, but I don't think that's what it's going to be. That hence we're looking at Rice, and if we don't get Rice, we'll get someone else, because Gundogan is better than Kovacic. So if it is just Gundogan out, Kovacic in, then in isolation, it is a downgrade. But I don't think Kovacic is going to be used like that. I think Kovacic is going to be more squad depth and also like utility. Hamza touched on it, how he can play in a number of positions and in a number of roles, systems, etc. So yeah, as a squad depth signing, I think it's fantastic. He is a very good player. I'd be staggered if he didn't improve at City, because Pep Guardiola's biggest asset is he improves players. So yeah, but I like it as a signing. Decent price, doesn't really affect our budget that much. And yeah, a decent addition to the midfield, but we do need someone else.
His only problem is his injuries, though, right?
Yeah, and hence I'd rather he be squad depth rather than someone we need to rely on week
he's
in,
quite
week
injury
out.
prone. That's the problem.
But we had Haaland. Haaland was injury prone. Gundogan was injury prone. Our medical team is fantastic. So
I'll just say this, Hamza. You guys have downgraded. That is a fact. Number one. Number two, it's kind of disrespectful to say Kovacic hasn't done anything and he's wasting his time at Chelsea. Even though I don't like Chelsea, they did beat you in a Champions League final. They beat us in the Europa League final. They won the Super Cup and they won the Club World Cup. So he went to 3 domestic finals.
Was Kovacic there with Conte when they won it, or did he come later? The Prem?
No, he wasn't there. He won it with. He was there. He joined in 2018, 19.
Let me double check. Go on.
I'm looking at it right now. He doesn't have a Premier League to his name. But when it comes to you guys signing Kovacic, the price is a bargain. Like, you guys got a really good deal from Chelsea. Chelsea are selling a lot of their players for decent prices, but they did sell you guys Kovacic for a really good price. I don't know how many years he has left on his contract, but my question is, what is his role going to be? Is he going to be used as an 8, because he doesn't really offer you much attacking output? In
utility. You can do both, can't he? I think, and as I say, squad depth as well. There's no reason.
I think he's going to be squad depth, but you're going to be shocked. He doesn't have his shooting boots on. He's going to have to kind of transform his game, and I'm going to be very interested to see how he transforms his game, because he doesn't really have goals and assists in his game. And majority of your midfielders, even Rodri, kind of add those elements to their game, where Kovacic, haven't really seen that from him.
Yeah, but I don't think he needs to be good enough to improve City's midfield. I don't see him starting week in, week out, so I don't see that being an issue. I think as a backup player, as a rotational utility option, I think he's a perfectly acceptable signing. Yeah,
I agree with that completely. I think if they could keep Kovacic fit, it will be 100% a great signing. That's my honest thoughts on it. Big up Sultan says Mali waffles right there. He is good, but calm down, Hamza, says Sultan. I can like Kovacic is good. Look, Kovacic has got an unbelievable skill set. City have signed him for a skill set. He's a very good passer of the football, very press resistant, keeps the ball well, has high work rate. Once again, we're all going to agree that his biggest issue is he's injury prone. If he can stay fit, then I think City will 100% have an unbelievable asset on their hands. I actually need to bring Nobbins and Hamza back to just purely talk about City transfers, because we need to discuss Gundogan and other stuff as well. So there's so much for us to discuss. But I'm going to wrap it up here. So the guys on the replay don't have to watch a whole 2-hour movie. Big up to تكلم عنك رار في برنامج مع اخوه expressions حبيبنا شفت تستمروا عندك مستوى. No way, Rant spoke about me with the expressions show. Let me know where, JJ. Thank you so much, أخي, for the super chat. I appreciate you, حبيبي. Let me know where though. Tell me which video, which minute. Tell me where so I can go find it after the stream, حبيبي. Thank you so much, JJ. I appreciate your support. And speaking of support, big up JJ, Sultan, Amin, Messi FC, Nabil, Shug, Ozan, Gary, Dinishan, Lil M, and AJ for the super chats. Big up to you guys. Make sure you slap the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're ready to do so. Derek, let me know which minute, please, so I could go check it out.
I think it was the Ice Spice Bambi on Ice thing.
No, I think you're talking about me shaving my head. Let me know which minute is it in. But shukran, AJ. Big up, everyone. Make sure you're liking the video. Make sure you're subscribing. We're going to go around the lovely panel to let you know where you can find them. Igal, where can people find you, Habibi?
Egal Talks Football. I'm going to be live again later today with Hussam. We're going to talk about all the latest transfer news across the top 6 and everything else. And of course, you guys can also find me on my Twitter. This is my Twitter handle right here. And I'm also on TikTok, Egal Talks Football. So yeah, big up everyone.
Igal is definitely 100% on TikTok. I do recommend you guys subscribing. Nobbins, where can people find you, my brother? I had to do it, Igal.
Yeah, so just L Nobbins on all platforms, Twitter, YouTube, etc. Which your platform of choice, and I'll be there.
Big up.
Nobbins, great.
Unless it's like MySpace or something, or like Christian Mingle or something.
Nobbins used to have a legendary TikTok, but not anymore.
It's back, to be fair. It's now L Nobbins with the EL, but yeah, I got banned. I will be making a proper comeback.
Okay, let's go. Comeback season. That's what we want to hear. And finally, the shameless one in his garden currently at Buckingham Palace. Hamza, where can people find you, Habibi?
Listen, I came from rags to riches. Last year, I did not have a YouTube. Today, as promised, I'll have a YouTube channel if I win the treble. So my one is I'm copying a girl. Hamza Talks Football. I'm there. I'm there. Hamza Talks Football. And then Man City Hardcore on Twitter, man. I'm just there representing my team, man. Listen, let me enjoy my life, man. I never used to wear glasses. I had hair, man. Let me enjoy my trouble now. Yeah? I'm the guy to watch now.
Man sat here like one of them New York Italian mafia guys in the movies. It's crazy. He sat in the garden with sunglasses on stuff. Love to see it, man. Anyway, love you all. Make sure to go follow Hamza Nobbins, follow Igal. If you missed any of their ads, make sure you go look at Cal.
Hamza Talks how?
Make sure to go back to my announcement tweet if you guys didn't check it out. Hit the link in the description to go find me on Twitter. Follow me over there. Go to the announcement tweet if you missed any of these guys' ads. Great guys. Leave us with a like, leave us with a subscribe, and come back at 11:30 because we're gonna crash it on Man United for signing Mason Mount yet again. So see you guys then, inshallah, Habibis. Peace out.